Another episode of TMI, the Money Initiative Podcast. Thank you back for everybody tuning in. Make sure y'all like, share, comment, and subscribe to our network, the YouTube channel, and make sure y'all share these links to y'all friends and families, y'all. Peace. First and foremost, we also got to make sure we always use our slogan, make sure the outcome is always income. And I would like to introduce our new host guest on our show today. His name is Elijah. Take it off.
What's up, y'all? My name is Elijah. Just to give y'all a quick background about me, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm an inspired music artist, entrepreneur, and community activist.
Beautiful. Appreciate you, Elijah. Definitely. And of course, we got the special guest of the show today. Known this man for a very long time. He seen me when I was in high school, right?
Yep. Goes back to high school, Manual High School.
Yes, it is. Yeah, exactly. Beautiful thing. He's a community activist, comes from a family of Black Panthers. Is a Black owner of an organization, nonprofit organization, hires Black, buys Black, invests in Black. And a special guest, and I'm honored to be in his presence right now, NARCY Jackson.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? How y'all doing? Man, good. That's what I'm talking about.
Give me some on the Black side.
So, I'm NARCY Jackson, executive director and co-founder of Athletics Beyond. My brother and I created the program back in 2005 to make sure resources stay in the community with us and our kids. My brother obviously is my brother. He looks just like me. But we're intentionally in Montbello and all that stuff to make sure that we are providing our community with the resources that they need.
That's how you do it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Elijah, you have any questions for the guest?
Yep, I have a few questions I want to ask.
Yes. Start off with one so we could go off on it.
First question I gotta ask is, what does ownership mean for you, and how long did it take you to realize ownership was the way to go?
Ownership means the world, man. It's independence. We really don't, outside of laws and rules and regulations that we got to follow. We open our doors when we want to. We close our doors when we want to. We have the keys to our building. We don't have to run anything through anybody.
Come on now. Let them know.
And the ability to be able to make the economic difference in the lives of the people that we serve. We went from me volunteering to now having 5 employees, not including people that are independent contractors that we work with. So it means the world to us, and it's something that was not taught growing up, and to have the ability, once again, to make a financial impact in the lives of others, man, that's deep.
It's a beautiful thing.
Okay. Another question. So, would you recommend the youth or just anybody in general to take the path you have chosen?
I highly recommend, but I also realize that not everybody's a chief, right? Some of us are employees, and we're comfortable with that level. To be an entrepreneur, you got to be cut from a special cloth. You got to, there's the highs, there's the lows, and all that stuff. So what I say is, once you find your passion and you find what it is that you like doing, like I said, some people like being, told, be to work at this time, shut down at that time. They want to be 8 to 5 people, but for that person that's willing to put in almost 24 hours in a day, I highly recommend being an entrepreneur.
Beautiful.
Okay.
To add on to that, real fast, Elijah, are leaders born or are they created?
Both.
You said chief and Indian, right?
Yeah.
So
they're both.
What does that mean in specifics?
Like you got it. That's just like, I really refer to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant are examples. They have it. They have that. It's just something in them that refuses to lose and refuses to settle and refuses to allow all the no's, because being a Black business owner, you'll get 1 million no's before you get one yeah. You know what I'm saying? And all that stuff. So you got to have grit. You got to have that. And then also we need to have somebody help mold us to understand that you're going to hit these hurdles. You're going to hit these road bumps. You're going to hit these barriers. And you got to keep on marching. You got to keep going forward.
For sure.
Yeah,
you got to keep on going forward. He said Michael Jordan got it.
He do. I mean, if you, whatever, no matter what, if you look at his documentaries and you just see his face and some of his highlights, he backed down from nobody. And, we saw it in the football game last night. If you're a GOAT, you'll have 30 seconds left in the game, and you'll find a way to make it happen. The other quarterback on the other opposing team didn't have it. Nothing, he's in a position I'm not in and all that stuff, but he gave the ball to a man that you shouldn't give the football to.
Right.
That man has it, and that's what an entrepreneur does.
Right. Aspirations, goals, you just got that different.
Yeah.
You built different.
Yeah, you just built different. And then, like I said, but you also got to know how to manage being built different.
Okay.
And that's where you have mentorship. I suggest everybody have a mentor. I have several mentors that I go to this day because I don't know it all. I don't have all the answers. And then once again, that's why it's both. It's not just one.
For sure. Yeah. So you just keep building on creating mentorship programs.
Exactly.
Okay, definitely. And speaking of mentorship programs, what type of advice do you get from your mentors in particular? What have they given you that you utilize on a day-to-day basis?
Just dig deep inside and understand that those no's should be your motivation. Mm-hmm. So, once again, I'm going to keep referring to that you're going to be told no more than you're going to be told yes. And if, once again, if you're not that person, it's easy to walk away and it's to quit. So just understand that you're going to have hurdles, and hurdles make you better. Mm. So that's what, if you don't go through struggle, which is the resiliency of the Black community as a whole, and our journey here in America, is our resiliency has us here right now, but yet we still survive. Yeah. No matter what has been done to us over centuries, right? And all that stuff, we still survive and we still are here. And you just got to keep that in mind.
Right, for sure. You got anything on that, Elijah?
Not particular, but I do have another question I do want to touch upon. Okay. So I want to ask you, like, in terms of reaching the level you have in life so far, like, how would you say relationships, whether it be with a girlfriend or family, impact, your success in your life? It's
a great question.
Man, relationships is everything, man. My foundation, my safety net. When I go home or when I get with my kids or, my significant other and all that stuff, man, that's your downtime. That's your recouping. I always refer to things, I'm a king, okay? And I'm out on the battleground. I'm that king that gets out and gets dirty, gets bloody, do all that stuff. But I'm wounded. When I'm wounded, I got to have a foundation and a base to where I can patch up and get back out there the very next day. So my family is everything. And I suggest that somebody always have that go-to person for that and all that stuff. But that's my strength and also my motivation to make sure that they have a bright future. I mean, financial literacy is really important, and it's not in ways of me talking about it through somebody else, but me being an example for my family.
Of course.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's a great question. To add on to that, Elijah, what I would say is, what hurdles did you go through, in the beginning of your journey, with this nonprofit, making money, struggling paying bills?
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't like limelight every day.
No, it still ain't.
Right. So like, what was the communication? What was the conversation? What was the problems like having a significant other there while you was riding? You know what I'm saying? Did you have to like take breaks, like? Because that's the reality of what we got to go through on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. When you ain't got no food on the table.
Yeah.
What did you have to do?
Man, my ex-wife, my kid's mother, was like, man, bruh. She was a rider, dog. That was she's a queen, and I've had my other significant other and all that stuff like is just a rider for me, and to answer your question is just like ask that one more time so I make sure I answer this correctly.
Man.
Because that means my natural answer, she's a rider.
When you was struggling trying to put food on the table while you was driving and pushing for your goals, making sure you was doing what you wanted to do in the community, what was the conversations like? How did they support you through that journey, or did you have to find ways to get it on your own? Like, what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, she kept it real with me, and the people, my significant others that I had in my life, they kept it real with me. Like, your time is money, and money is time.
Right.
Because I did, for my first 8-9 years, this was volunteer based, and so I was going to work just to run the program, and to a degree, like even right now, things are tight for us right now. So that's a great sacrifice that I have to dig deep into, personally, financially, and all that stuff to make sure we stay afloat as a business and all that stuff. But that person keeps it real with you, like your vision seems a little blurred. Why don't you look at it this way? Or challenge me, like, that ain't flying, you know what I'm saying, all that stuff. But they also encourage you and remind you of what it is that you're working for.
Right.
So I had that while I was raising our children and all that stuff. Like, what this is all about, and I just kind of want to touch on this a little bit. Is I was laid off twice. I went to school to be an accountant. That's what my background's in. It's in accounting. Never again will I work for corporate America the best I can help it. And because they control my inputs and my outcomes for most of my adult life. So what I mean by that is I was laid off by an oil and gas company, kind of around the Enron era time, and then I was laid off from the Sports Authority. And when I was laid off from the Sports Authority and I had to wake up every morning and look my kids in the eye while their mom was going to work, that took a challenge and took a hit on my manhood. And so where some people that aren't cut from that cloth will easily disappear, that was not a choice and that wasn't an option for me.
Yeah, you didn't become enabled.
Yeah, I didn't become enabled, and I wasn't going to see my kid have them to see that. And so now my kids walk into the business that was created by my brother and I, and our people that support us. Like I said, I got a great support system. We got a program director that's like my right hand man, and he challenges me at times and all stuff. So that's even from a coworker, and I consider him a good friend as well as my kids and all that stuff. So that support system, you got to lean into it. If you don't, find that mentor. Mm-hmm. Everybody needs a mentor.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. Definitely. Maybe multiple, right?
Multiple, because we have different points of views.
Definitely.
I also have a mentor that comes in from a corporate standpoint that, our motto is to compete with the name brand models, the European models. Is like, we're in a capitalistic society. So in order to fight your enemy, you better understand your enemy, right? So we understand capitalism and how it works and how it functions.
Mm-hmm. And capitalism ain't got no emotions.
It has no emotions. Capitalism is straight up green.
Period. No morality.
There's no morality, and so for us, for our successful part of this model, where we have an advantage in our community that they don't have, is we're transactional, because you have to be transactional, right? Goods and services, right? We exchange that. That's the corporate capitalistic model. We are relationship based. Uh-huh. Our relationship. You feel comfortable enough to come into our office, sit down, NARCY, I have this. Okay, let's make this happen together.
For sure.
And you also have reached out for mentors of all levels and all different arenas and all that other stuff. But capitalism works for those that thrive off of it, but it also, for our community, for us to be able to continue upward mobility, it takes a lot of relationship building. And we don't do stuff without. If I can't break bread with you, we're going to always look at each other like that.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
So, yeah, you got to be able to ride with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got anything to say on top of that? I heard you speaking a lot.
Yeah, that was the deep answer. Like, I like the question that you asked them, and I have a similar question, that pretty much plays into a part of that. And the question was, how many individuals would you say, you've fallen out with because they didn't see your dream and goals? Now that they have, how's the relationship with them?
It's a good
and would
question.
You say it affected, you down the line?
Man, bruh, you lose some people. You lose some people. You lose some people. You get surprised. You know what I'm saying? That's the hard part of it. But once again, it allows you to see where you're at. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But you're gonna lose about as many, if not more, people as you start to realize your vision, your goals, and your dreams.
Okay, so how would you say success changed you and the people around you?
Just gave it success. I'm still working on success. To be honest with you, success is also seeing the light a little bit. Also motivates me on what on how far I can go. So success is also in definition, right? Some people say, I got X amount of dollars in my bank account. That's success. Yeah. For me, success is how many people we have employed. For me, success is keeping our business in the community and not chasing the mighty dollar. To be out in the suburban areas, to work with a population that has the resources. And
probably support you faster, to be honest.
Well, there's a price to be paid with that. We got to also understand, not every dollar is a good dollar. Mm-hmm. And we learned a hard lesson just dealing with certain entities this past year. Depending on dollars that came from basically government and all that stuff is a whole different animal. So not every dollar is a good dollar.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's great, and it's big in what you just said earlier. Not only about the money, but you said that you still haven't seen success. But I feel like in other people's eyes, people that's at the bottom, they will look at you like, okay, that's success, like having a certain amount of money in your bank account, and via situations like that.
And let me say this, I'm going to add this to the formula of success. I also live in fear. I grew up in the projects. I also know that I can have a car and I can have X amount of dollars in my bank account, and like that, it can disappear. So for me to say that that's success on a monetary level, that's a falsehood for me in my reality. Once again, my thing is I have a grandson now, and he comes into the center, and he's not aware of it yet, but he's going to grow up in that business model, seeing that. My daughter's at the center, and my family sees what I'm doing. And like I said, I'm doing this with my brother. So my success is talking to my aunt the other day that flew into town for my mom. My success is being able to tell her and show her what I've been able to do and accomplish, and me, my brother, and everybody else that supports us. But to see that we did something, and that had nothing to do with I have X amount of dollars in my bank account.
At all.
Nothing at all.
At all. So are you trying to build generational wealth for your grandchildren?
Yes, I am.
So to pass it on to them?
Yes, and I'm looking 5 generations from now.
Okay. What about your children?
Same thing. Well, they're immediately seeing it, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at legacy.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking at. Legacy. Financial literacy just means comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So the legacy that my family tradition, like you said, my family's very involved in civil rights. I'm 4th generation civil rights activist.
Mm-hmm.
My family's from Texas, from deep south in Texas, where they escaped Jim Crow lynchings and stuff like that, and came to Colorado and got really deeply involved in politics.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily politics, but community.
Mm-hmm.
That legacy, when my grandmother was buried, when we had her funeral, everybody talked about the work and the impact that she had on them. Wasn't a dollar sign on her casket. Wasn't none of that stuff. It was the legacy that she left behind.
Yeah.
And so that's what it's about for me. It's the legacy and the mark that I leave on people that are coming behind me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm saying this generation, which is my children, the next generation, which is my children, they see it firsthand. They saw us go from 0 to, let's say, 100.
0 to hero.
Yeah, 0 to hero. Well,
yeah.
I was always a hero.
Yeah, come on now.
I was always a hero, so I ain't gonna say I was, 0 in that sense. But anyway, now my grandson has no idea what he's a part of.
Uh-huh.
That's cool, because it's gonna be now natural for him.
Uh-huh.
It's not introduced to him like for me and my brother to start the program. It's new for us. My mom was a good community activist,
mm-hmm.
but she never understood or told me to be a business person, to own land, to own all that stuff.
Yeah.
She owns her own land and her own property and all that stuff, but it wasn't a discussion.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, for me, it's all about legacy. And then those that we extend our reach beyond that spider web, right, is who's able to come into our center and see Black trainers, Black owners, executive director, Black program director. Everything that they see, the music, everything, the culture, the sound, the smell, all that stuff is culture related. We got HBCUs information up on our walls. That is the most important thing, and I think that's what. I kind of leave it at that right there.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, y'all got me on my soapbox, so.
Hey, we love it.
So I have another question, right? So we were just speaking about Michael Jordan a couple of minutes ago, and I wanted to ask you. So you're an activist, right? So how do you feel about advocating, the youth and possibly becoming athletes because they think it's an easier way out when mostly to all of them won't make it as professional via them giving up years of their life, chasing some, like
that's a good question.
Only the 1% would be in.
Well, you athletics and beyond. Athletics is our hook. Beyond is what are you going to do when you retire? Some of our young adults aren't going to play at the high school level. Some of our adults aren't going to play at the collegiate level. Some of them aren't going to play pro. Some of them are not going to make the Hall of Fame and all that stuff. Michael Jordan has his own businesses. He's got that generational wealth that we're talking about and all this other stuff. We are 20% athletics, 80% beyond.
I like that.
That is who we are, but we also know that we have to edutain, and this is where we might lose a couple people and they might be a little hurt and all this other stuff. We have to edutain and use technology when we're working with our community because The big push is on athletics. This is your way out. This is your gateway out. Nobody's talking to our kids about being owners.
Hell no.
Nobody's talking to our kids about being the engineers that keep a facility going. Nobody talks to our kids about you be the sports agent. And the biggest part is just you be the owner. Have your own league.
Yeah.
You know, have your own league and all that stuff. So that's what we want to push through our program is, man, yeah, that's cool. You love ball. That's cool. What about if you own the basketball? What about if you own the building that you're dribbling in? And what if you own the stadium that people to come to? We just don't think that. And I just want to kind of take this into what I witnessed going down to HBCU homecoming games this year. And I've been experienced because one of my best friends lives in Florida, so I went down there with him and was witness to it. I saw black excellence. Every vendor was black. Going into the stadium, the pride from the Divine Nine, from your Masons, your Shriners, and your Black Israelites, and everybody was there and they were supporting each other. It wasn't the resistance that I see that's more prevalent here in Colorado. I'll use another example is in Houston, there's a restaurant called the Turkey Leg Hut, Breakfast Club. Those are two places I'll kind of go to. Lines are around the corner. Waiting's about 30, 45 minutes to get a meal. We go to a restaurant here in Colorado. You see what I'm saying? We don't, in Colorado, we just got to do a better job of supporting each other and all that stuff. And I know that's probably another segue and all that other stuff, but that's what it is, man.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. You got any other questions with that, Elijah?
Yeah.
I have. Hold on. Before you ask that, I do got one question though.
Mm-hmm.
I do got one question. Speaking about unity, building the foundation for yourself, falling back into the key element of people falling out. What was your biggest sacrifice you had to make so far in your journey? You know what I'm saying? To get to the point you are right now, what was the biggest sacrifice that led you to this game?
Time and personal health.
Time and personal health.
Time and personal health, and time away from my family. And then, like I said, the unfortunate part is losing people that are close to you. Not from death, but from just not seeing eye to eye. Those are some things I think are probably the host. But if I had to do it again, I'll do it again. Yeah, I'll do it. There's just, for any reward, there's great sacrifice.
Of course. And
so the great sacrifice is I leave something for my children. So I buried 3 aunts that we try to figure out through GoFundMe and all that other stuff how to bury them. My kids don't got to worry about that.
Yeah.
So they can celebrate my home going.
Your home going.
Yeah.
Straight up, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that specifically, going into homegoing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fallouts. Did you fall out with any family members over what you were doing?
No.
They was right with you all the way through.
My family, like I told you, I got a rock solid family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not large in numbers. It's not like we're all over the city and all stuff. But I got a rock solid foundation through my family.
For sure.
Yeah. And they're in the center. They're in different capacities.
Definitely, but no fallouts with that.
No.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So, no, I've been fortunate.
So I wanted to ask. So what are some mistakes that you made in your life based off of just everything in general that you would tell people, to help them prevent the same mistakes you made?
Man, trust. Golly. You got to trust, but then you shouldn't trust.
You got to trust.
You got to trust because that's how you're going to move forward. And then you just got to expect that trust is going to be breached. For somebody, there's always that person that's in it for the season.
That's strong because like a lot of young black brothers is being put on, to just different ways to make money, and they coming up with the people that they was raised with, and a lot of these people is snaking them and putting them in crazy positions and going through all of this because of they trust these people.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that?
It's unfortunate, man. I mean, just be honest with you, it's unfortunate. It's unnecessary. That's where I come with that is it's totally unnecessary. There's room to eat. Dane Dash, I just shot out a video to our program director, Kyle. Just Dane Dash is talking about everybody eats. So like sitting in this room right now with the three of us,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm the only person that's eating, and then y'all got to come to me, what happens when I go down?
That's true, and
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but if you're eating and you're creating wealth and you're doing it, if I come down, you can now fill in, and then it just becomes a domino, and that's what we're seeing, and that's why we're behind the 8 ball in this country that we live in. I can't speak for any other country because I don't live in another country. I'm speaking from America, and I'm gonna narrow that down on a micro level and all stuff. Just in Colorado alone, you know what I'm saying, is we're so worried about that person coming up that we ruin the whole potential. Jay-Z said it best. Yeah. You know, Jay-Z said it best. What's better than one millionaire? Two. What's hard about that formula?
Come on now, bars. That's real talk. He said, "What's better than 1 millionaire?" Two.
That's true, and I feel like, like everything you said is just right on the head, and I don't feel like a lot of people understand this. It's like you have your brothers with you. Everybody might not have the big bag or whatever. You might have more than them, but they don't understand that, like, only thing you gotta do is pretty much work with your peoples, and y'all all get to the same level. But it's like, people want it now, so it's like they stake their mans for anything.
Yeah, I was also gonna say, even on top of that, to add, we do got some questions from people watching. Shout out to Tux. He said, "Does your organization offer mentorship specifically to young men?"
Specifically to young men, yes. We have. We just did a financial literacy business math 101, where we had some young men learn how to operate a vending machine. We do that. We have somebody that that grew up through. We got several members that grew up through our program that we now outsource our services for. Our videographer, our cleaning service, and also. So yeah, we do mentor young black men specifically because I'm a black man.
Let them know. What's the value of that?
Humongous. Again, I'm making a difference.
For sure.
I'm a part of whatever change it is that they're looking for.
Yeah, and they need us, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really go with our relationship. Since you was at Manual High School, there was nothing that really necessarily about us other than the respect I had for your activism, seeing myself in you. Like, cause you legit with it. Young activist, right?
Yes, sir.
You're legit with it and all that stuff. So that's like, that means everything, man. That's to have that mentor, and I had mentors.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, I had mentors, and I always suggest that there's some leaders out there. I said, I just think they need a hug sometime, or a mentor. You know what I'm saying? Like, golly, So let's just mentors and having those relationships are important.
Yeah. Next question is what are 5 steps towards happiness?
Start with self. Doing things that help, whatever those things are that make you happy and all stuff. Man, that's a really good question because it's kind of like natural for me. But it's internal because if I'm unhappy, I cannot be happy, and my energy around others can't be that way.
Right.
Depend on yourself. Trust yourself. Believe in yourself. And love yourself. Those are the 5 steps that I would say. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay, so say those again. So first of all, self. Do things that make you happy. Trust yourself. Believe in yourself. And last is love yourself.
And love yourself, yes.
For sure. Yeah. So those are the 5 steps to make y'all happy. Coming from NARCY Jackson. Next question. What do you want what you say, Elijah?
No, I have one, but you could go. I'll go right after you.
Oh yeah, for sure. What do you want your legacy to be left with?
That I care, I gave it down.
That you gave it down.
Yeah, that I gave to a community that often doesn't give back. I gave to my family that loves me unconditionally. That I gave, everything I had to make this world a better place than I found it. So. For
sure. What you got, Elijah, on that? I agree.
You just 100%. Said plays perfectly to the question about the acts. So for all the things you doing for the community, how do you fight the people in power who will want you to fail in your goals for a better community?
I do things in spite of. We do things in spite of. don't give us. We're underfunded. Let me just be transparent with all that stuff. As for the impact that we do and the work that we do, to be the only center within 20 miles that provides full service wraparound that's culturally relevant and all that stuff, we exist in spite of what they don't do. I just was talking to a funder this morning about why we got declined. The reasons they gave us didn't even line up. Didn't, you know what I'm saying? Didn't even line up. They basically said I look like we're a one-man show. So by myself, I'm running a center. So that means I'm doing the accounting, I'm doing the marketing, I'm opening the doors, I'm welcoming customers, I'm training clients, I'm doing all that stuff. Basic research would have told you that it's not me by myself.
Yeah, that's BS.
This is BS, but that's what they gave me because it was their money.
Right.
Another one is dealing with just straight up dealing with the city. We provide services in April. We don't get reimbursed till late October. Those are things that I think are institutional barriers. And once again, we exist because we are resilient.
Right.
We're resilient. We're not trying to depend on any of those things to keep us afloat. But that also puts us where we fight for every penny to pay every penny, every expense that we have. I mean, we might look like we're doing okay, but no, we're
y'all boat, your boat's kind of sinking, but it's staying afloat.
Yeah, it's staying afloat and all that other stuff. And so, but this is where I challenge the community. Let's just say within 5 miles, there's 5,000 people. If 500 of those people became members of the center, we're not asking for grants.
Right.
It's just, and once again, our community can keep us open.
For sure. Completely independent.
Completely independent. We can stay open just from what our community does.
Yeah, that makes sense, 100%. And even, you got another question, Elijah?
Yeah, and like what he just said is right on. And my main thing is like, how do, like you said, you only really need the community for funding. You don't actually need these banks or whatever. But my main thing is like, how do we get just people in general? How do we unbrainwash them from what they've been told, and were told to do and stuff like that?
Lee, go ahead. I'm sorry. Was that it?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I mean, that once again, these are conversations I'm having like every day right now, and this is a perfect example. This is a Black-owned and Black-ran business. We're in here supporting this business. This business is supporting us.
Shout out AHRR Network.
Yeah, there we go. And so, and it's as simple as that. Is support each other. You'll see other communities where they may not like their neighbor, but they will support their neighbor versus watching them fall. And that's, once again, that's the simplest formula that you can have. It's, we're doing it right now. We are the example that we want to see.
That's 100%. And even with that being the example, what was the final straw for you to really start building and helping your community the way you did? Was there a trigger point?
I was born to do it. That's all I saw. I was going to meetings with my mom. My mom, we were in the projects. I know what poverty is. We had sleep for dinner a lot of times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But just growing up with my mom and seeing my grandmother just being active, you should understand. You should relate to that and all that stuff. Where you just don't have a choice. You're born into it. And that's all you know. My final straw with like being an entrepreneur was being laid off from the Sports Authority. It was being straight up. It was being laid off from the Sports Authority, and having that entity be in control of my life and my outcomes and my ability to feed my family. I said never again. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does. That's how you gotta do it, man. You have to do it that way, man. Being born to do this ain't no joke, man. It's either in you or it ain't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got it or you don't.
Man,
because it's hard, dude. There's many a days. I mean, I'm kind of recovering from letting things kind of pull on me. Like when you came in the office, I was kind of just irritated with just things in general and all that stuff. And then like I just got that new energy, and that's just me refocusing and thinking, okay, where are we at? What do I need to do? Sit here and ball up in the dark, or just, hey, man up, say it with your chest.
You got it. You know what
Say
I'm
with
saying?
your chest.
Hey, speaking of that, and you heavily into sports, what's your opinion on? And this is an interesting question. What's your opinion on this new generation? Because you know, my generation, right? We're soft. You know, from the general public's aspect. You know, the older generation. What's your opinion on that, especially being into sports and athletics?
Yeah, and that's a tough one.
Is our generation soft?
Your generation, I'm sitting here talking to you, so you're the next generation. So I can't say that this generation is soft. There are elements which I think is every generation that we have. There are elements where we could have room for improvement and all stuff. But I'm sitting here talking to y'all. This is y'all's show. So my answer is y'all strong. You know what I'm saying? And you make your generation move mountains where we was afraid to go downtown when we was protesting and you know, the MLK parade stuff and all that stuff when we was in college. We didn't mess with downtown. We, you know, the Watts riots and all that other stuff. That was always in the hood. Y'all went downtown with it and pulled down statues. You know, these, you know, did some things with it. You use technology to your advantage and all stuff. With the athletes that we work with, another thing that's not gonna make me popular right now. We got a lot of athletes that want to be D1. That work ethic ain't D1.
Right.
That work ethic is D15. You know, you got a 1.2 GPA.
That work ethic's community college.
You know, it is what it is. So that's the other side of it, is that there's a lot of kids, and then I think because of some upbringing and people with this neoliberal approach as well.
Egocentrism.
You know, everybody gets a ribbon. You know, and I think that's really counterproductive, especially in the sports arena where you either score more points than the other team or you don't.
Straight up, no winning.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like
you earn or you don't.
Yeah.
You earn or you learn.
You earn or you learn. And so, unfortunately, we have some people that are being raised that they get a ribbon just because they showed up. And that is hard to coach and work with the mentality of that. But yet they sit here, either they blame us for them not going to Division I or that. And then there's another, I want to touch on something about our competition, but when we get to that, just remind me.
Hey, put that in the notes, Elijah, because I'm going to forget.
Yeah, so we got competition out here that y'all won't believe and that we flock to. So I'll get on that when we get to it.
Yeah, for sure. What's the next question when we go into that? You did low-key say that this generation is soft, though, but it's because of enabling, though.
It's enabling, but I can't say that it's soft because I'm sitting here talking to you, bro.
Hey, but we speaking as a general, right?
As a general, I'm coming into contact with young men like you.
Yeah, that's true.
That's my exposure. I'm not necessarily coming into contact with kids that
don't really be getting it like that.
Yeah, that don't get it like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't, you know, and that's not a fair statement because older generation used to say things about us.
Of course.
I'm like, well, if we weak, who raised us?
Come on now.
So you can easily come back to me if I said they're weak. You're like, well, then who's responsible for our upbringing?
Exactly.
You know,
who's responsible for the enabling?
Yeah, for the enabling also. But I will say this generation is a lot more enabled because we have access to more, to just whatever that is, information, misinformation, and all that stuff. So yeah,
everything's right there for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and going into that, what you got from Elijah?
Yeah, so I kind of heard a little bit earlier that you was talking about your family were Black Panther members. So I wanted to ask you, how do you feel? How do you stay full steam ahead at what you do when you see how they were treated at the end?
Well, I know very little. My mom didn't share a whole lot of her involvement out of protection, and just not even just with that. It was she was very, very protective over us on things that she was exposed to. I just found out her life was on the line quite a few times. Somebody told her, "I'm supposed to kill you." She'll probably kill me for telling this out, on the airways and all that stuff. But it's once again. My family was involved in just a variety of aspects of civil rights, but our philosophy and our principles are that of the Panther Party. So we feed kids and everything that we do. We believe in mental health. We have meals. We have school education resources and all that stuff. And we do believe that we're not going to sit down. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to sit down. but we do believe that we will meet force with force.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I do believe in that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just as a person, as a man, that we do all that other stuff. So that's what that is. I just saw my mom very involved in the community, and that's the way that we like to leave it, that she was a community activist.
For sure.
And my grandmother, who, you know, once again, they had the insight to leave Texas, but I also heard my family in Texas. You know, they wasn't associated with the weatherman, but my grandfather and my great-grandfather, like, if they came with them hoods coming up to their house, they was ready to deal with it.
That was right.
Yeah, so that's just the legacy that I come from. Is like,
let people know who the weatherman is.
Weatherman, basically, there was a bunch of men, older men, that basically believed that if they were going to come and try to take away lives or land and all that stuff, that they would meet force with force.
They would meet force with force. What you got for him, Elijah?
Yeah, so just hearing that, like, you have kids, right?
Yes.
Okay, so do you drill, do you try drilling the same mentality you have, towards society and just us as a people into them? And how do, you prevent them from going astray to the other side?
Leading by example. My kids aren't perfect. I'm not perfect. I got a past. Some decisions I made, that were not really the best. My best thing is just to give them guidance. And like I said, my number one goal when my kids came into this world was to be the example that I wanted them to be. So, if they didn't see it, how could they be it? And our mission statement, creating opportunity through exposure. So a lot of us, if we don't see it, we don't know any better. Mm-hmm. If you third generation, this affiliation or that affiliation, that's what you see and that's what you know.
Yeah. And what you said is deep, and I kind of have what you said was deep, and I kind of have my own little story that I just want to put into perspective here. Like, so what you just said, like, you're going to know what you're being shown and stuff like that. So I grew up in a household, my father raised me via my mother, and certain stuff I was never even introduced to. They didn't even introduce me to violence or whatever, but, down the line I found myself, in the trenches doing crazy stuff. Yeah. So my main thing is, do you believe that if, like, all the influence that's going on around right now, the agenda is being pushed would affect them in any type of way, although you're doing what you're doing?
Yeah, so, and that's almost a segue into what I was mentioning about competition. The devil's busy. Devil's busy, man, and the devil can reach more people because he caters to the weaknesses of all of us as people. And I'm not talking from the biblical standpoint. I'm just talking about from a real spiritual standpoint, that the devil's busy, and unfortunately he's extremely busy in the neighborhood. We want to put out certain music and certain songs that you can't find any other ethnic group that has the music with the tone and the messaging that we have. Man. And that's part of that being busy. Sure. And then it's sales, right? It's popular. It's easy to do that. I'm going to give an example. We have a club football program that, we do all these things. We travel out of state and we teach the kids football. Our biggest competition names himself after a gorilla. And most of the players that they come recruit from the neighborhood are black kids. Mm-hmm. We got those kids and we got parents flocking to that. And so once again, we're sitting here saying, you got to volunteer. Your grades got to be right. You got to do this and that. That makes us unpopular with our kids and our community.
That requires discipline.
That requires it, yeah. But you want to be called a gorilla and you drive 25 miles out to go train with them just for football. And that's once again, that the messaging that our kids are being is, you are an entertainer. You entertain us.
Exactly.
Entertain us, and then we want the most negative form of entertainment. I come up during the Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One, Poor Righteous Teachers, Brian Nubian, Public Enemy, and I grew up. My college and high school years was listening to that music. Now what's going on, and once again, I'm not blaming music because behavior is what you decide to do. But our kids are exposed to things that are basically, end this and be that, and I'm going to kill you, and I can't, man, bruh, that's a lot. And that's why I say the devil's busy, because that's what's more visible. The stuff that we're doing, it's not popular.
Yeah.
It's not popular. The kids don't want to learn about how to open a business.
Yeah.
They want to go learn how to catch balls.
Yeah.
And dunk balls, and that's what they gravitate to. So the further example on that is this Gorilla program basically has 6,000 followers. We have 600 followers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even with that,
you see what I'm saying? The devil's busy.
Yeah.
The devil knows how to appeal to them, and that's the bare minimum, the lowest common denominator that our community responds to is, I want to go play football, and I'm gonna get highlighted on somebody's social media page because I caught a touchdown, and what we're doing doesn't even get you recruited.
Exactly. What
gets you recruited is your grades, your character, and what you do when you're in pads with your program.
Of course.
So for us to sit and lie to our kids and tell them that they're going to get recruited because they're wearing a 7-on-7 uniform,
right,
that's a disservice and just an injustice to the community as a whole.
Making the league is not all about talent too.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of players who were just as talented as LeBron James and Kobe Bryant did not make it because of their attitude.
The GOAT.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Came out of New York. Manigoat.
Manigoat?
You guys research him. That was his nickname. Earl the Manigoat. Oh, geez, I can't remember his name.
What year was this?
During Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's time.
Okay.
This cat was shorter. He was about 6 something maybe. He would be able to take a quarter off the top of a backboard. And he just, the streets had a bitter hold on him.
Yeah, even though he could have easily made a league off of talent.
Yeah, he could have made it. Yeah, terrible. Yeah. Well, and who he was around.
Right.
Our kids are also around. Find peers that challenge you to want to be an engineer, electrician, or whatever that trade, a business owner, whatever that is. But unfortunately, our kids want to mimic the things that are very visible, no matter who supports and finances it or whatever and all that stuff. Does that mean that we got to put the music out?
Right.
Why we insist on putting certain music out or whatever that is. And once again, I'm not blaming the artists. I'm not blaming music. I'm blaming the people that gravitate to it. But to answer your question is, the devil's busy, and for the small percentage we'll get, the devil gets the larger percentage.
Of course. That's how it always is. Yeah.
Yeah. My main thing is to kind of say you don't know why, but my question is, how, do you believe poverty plays a big role into this? Because my thing is, now these young kids know that rapping about violence, even though they're not, involved in it, they know rapping about violence or whatever thing that's put to the community will help them get some views and potentially get paid and sign, leading them to, bigger money and stuff like that. Do you feel like that's pretty much like the main thing going on? That's the social media influence?
That is it. Poverty breeds desperation, right? You're desperate to feed your basic needs, your food, shelter, security. Your basic needs of a human being come from that, and poverty breeds that. Poverty makes you want to take from the man next to you and all that stuff. Take, and attack those things, or attack people that look just like you, because that's what's closest to you and all that stuff. But poverty definitely, I would give it a lot of weight that a majority of the issues that we're seeing is related to poverty. If you're starving, you're hungry. I mean, Tupac broke it down. You're going to go knock on the door like, I'm hungry, will you let me in? Then you're going to knock a little bit harder. I'm starving, you're going to let me in. Then, you get to continue knocking, like, I'm about to knock this door down. And then eventually you knock the door down and all that stuff. So, but in the meantime, a lot of people are hurt while you're trying to get the come up.
Right.
That was a perfect analogy.
That was. I remember him saying that too. Yeah. And then he started rapping, "Hey, I'm hungry. Let the door in.
Yeah.
What the fuck going on?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Over time, we create resentment.
We created resentment, but come on, man. You starve anybody, that's the natural survival instincts right there, and you attack what's closest to you. That's why the imagery that we get on. We look at a wall and we see the representation of somebody that came out of Egypt with blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we ain't going to attack him.
Yeah, the God we pray to don't look like us, right?
Yeah, so we're not going to attack him. It's easy to attack someone that looks just like yourself that doesn't represent the higher being.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? And then also, through breaking the buck and, the things that they're doing with some of our athletes and some of our celebrities. When you speak out, we're going to try to strip you of everything that you have. But you have a contract that says you have the right to freedom of speech. You have the right to freedom of expression. Freedom. The Panther Party walked into the Capitol in California with guns. They changed gun control laws. And so, but if you keep and you suppress the people, and the only thing they can fight against is each other, that's where, once again, poverty. You know, that's your redlining, that's your bank loans. As a nonprofit, we don't get the same funding that our counterparts that come to us to do the services and do the work. They, you know, once again, you know, poverty just makes you now desperate, where you just want to take from the closest thing to you just so you can feel, you know, fine. Yeah. The other part of poverty is, there's a video on YouTube that says how to sell to the Negro. Well, if you keep us poor for so long,
that's a good video.
It's excellent. It's excellent.
Y'all need to watch that video.
How to sell to the Negro.
That's a must. If you want to be in community and you ain't seen that, something wrong with you. Hey, Elijah, watch that video after this, bro. That's a great video. Anyway, keep going. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. It's just, you know, once again, but a poor person only wants what he views a rich person has. But if you don't have access to it, and through systematic barriers that keep you out of that stuff, you eventually, when you get a chance, you got to go chase that money. Mm-hmm. Or what looks like money, right?
That's their money initiative, right?
That's their money. That's transactional.
Right. Yeah, people is scared. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, people will be soft-spoken, politically correct, because, you know what I'm saying, they scared to be different. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick said it best. He said, niggas is tight-lipped, fuck who dare to be different. It's rap. It's real talk. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, you know, we got to stop doing that. Yeah. But we're not going to stop doing that until people stop being scared. That's all comes from fear, like we talked about.
Yeah, but where'd that fear come from? You know, I look at breaking the buck. Mm-hmm. Look at what breaking the buck means, what it is, and what the psychology behind that, and all that stuff. We get broken every opportunity. When they lynched us, they castrated us.
Mm-hmm. Kanye just lost the deal because of an Instagram share. Not Kanye. Kanye lost multiple deals too. Kendrick Lamar.
Kanye got free.
Kyrie Irving just lost the deal.
Kanye got free.
He did.
Yeah, and I am no fan. You know, don't get me wrong, because you can't conveniently be black one day and not the other day. So, yeah. You know, but based off of what he had a constitutional right to say, or if we agree with him or disagree with him,
he got a wake up call though.
Yeah. For sure. Well, you know, once again, you know, I don't know the details behind him and all the other stuff and all that stuff, but. You know, he said he wanted out of the contract deal.
And he got what he wanted.
He got what he wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm talking from a business perspective.
Yeah, strictly.
That was strategic.
That's interesting. So speak a little bit more on that, because I actually want to hear your analyzation. So Kanye West did everything he did on a strategy basis so he could be free from all his contracts.
Yeah, from his contracts. So he, I've seen interviews where, once again, I do not know all the great details behind this. I'm by no means endorsing anything. What I am saying is he knew a way through his behavior to break a contract. I would have to have them break the contract. Now he can do whatever distribution he needs to do on his terms.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's genius.
So that's strategic.
Right.
You know, so.
And whatever his purpose is, he did that intentionally to get out of it.
He did that intentionally. And I people call him crazy. I think he's.
That's not crazy. That little moves is too strategic just to happen by luck.
Yeah. How different was Michael Jordan? How different was Michael Jackson? How different was not Michael Jordan. Michael Jackson and Prince. How different were they? Prince ran around in heels.
Right. Makeup, net shirts.
You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson was very, wasn't what people consider normal and all that stuff with his behavior. And all that stuff, Michael Jackson in particular was ridiculed most of his adult life when he wasn't the cute little big nose,
right?
Kid with the afro and all that from Gary, Indiana.
Yeah, he
became, all of a sudden, he was challenged on his music lyrics,
right?
And all that stuff. So, and both those men are dead.
They are 100%. At 50, I think both of them died in their 50s.
Yeah, in their prime, really.
Really.
Yeah. So.
And then, the funny thing is, like, when it comes to our people, we don't live to see our success. Mm-hmm. We always die like 50, 60 years old. Mm-hmm. They live till 80, 90, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Even on top of that, speaking about bosses, leaders, business, what would you say are 3 character attributes that, are things that a leader or a boss shows when it comes to business?
First, you need to know how to follow.
Okay.
If you don't know how to, you can't lead if you don't know how to follow. So you got to learn how to follow and be part. You got to be in the trenches. You got to be able to want to get dirty. So that's the first thing. Be strong and firm in your convictions. Live and die by whatever decisions you make. You know, and that's just natural. And then the other one is just be, lead by example. Whatever it is that you want them to be, you have to be able to show them, this is what I want.
I love that one. My dad has always told me that. Whatever you ask of somebody, you got to be willing to do yourself. Yeah,
you got to get your hands dirty. And how, I told you we're relationship based, right? And if I don't see you doing it, I mean, let's talk from the street level. You got to put in work in order to be down with the set.
Right.
That's across the board with everything we do. When you're getting hazed in the fraternities, you got to, did you go through the process? They haze in professional sports. You're a rookie. Go get, go buy the whole team lunch at $10,000 and all that stuff. So, that's, you got to.
You got to get what you got to get.
Yeah. And then eventually you become the guy that does the, the hazing and all that stuff. Yeah. So, and, once again, I'm not endorsing hazing, stuff like that, but you got to.
Yeah,
pay your dues.
That's the reality of the situation, and it's transferable through different aspects of business. You know what I'm saying? Whether in the streets or corporate America, you got to take those sacrifices in the beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. What you got to ask, Elijah?
Like that. I mean,
got any more?
No, I don't really have no more questions for him.
Okay. One more good question. What is one thing, key critical thing that our community needs to know via business if you had to give it to them? You know what I'm saying? One thing that's a solution for our community.
Support each other.
Support each other.
Don't matter if you like it or not.
Okay.
If you support them or not. There's people that won't come to the center just because they don't like me.
Okay, for sure.
Fine with that, but you know what I'm saying? But support each other. There's 4 other people that are employed by supporting the center. Don't have to like me. Come support us.
Right.
Just come support us.
Okay, so support.
But I'm not even talking about just from a NARCY or an Athletics Beyond standpoint. What I'm saying is, you have a business that's next door. Support.
Build.
Just build. If it was one word, I would say build.
Okay, so build.
Yeah.
In order for a building to be a building, it got to be built, right?
It's got to be built.
Right. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Anything else to add on?
Yeah, I feel like what he just said is great because trust and helping each other is the most important thing. Because nowadays everybody feels like they have to compete against each other, but if you have 100 people in the neighborhood and everybody into business and everybody start their own business up, y'all going to go up. Somebody gonna go up.
Well, you have to. I mean, no, I just want to add to that. There's nothing wrong with competing, man. Just don't hate. Compete. You were supposed to compete. That's the society we live in. That's capitalism. My goods are better than his services.
Burger King, McDonald's compete all the time.
They compete all the time.
There's no coincidence why they're always across the street from each other.
Yeah.
It's intentional.
Do they go shoot each other up?
No. But they shoot each other's businesses up in the analytics and the numbers.
Exactly.
Selling the same burger.
Yeah. And that's intentional because it drives traffic to that area. So whether they eat at McDonald's or Burger King, both of them is eating because that's where the food distribution area is. It's very
and who are they selling it to?
They selling it to us.
Okay.
I'm sure demographically we probably majority per capita.
Yeah. Go to any Black Hood USA, and what restaurants do you how many whole food like healthy food restaurants do you find?
How many Popeyes and Church's Chickens?
There you go. So and so once again, that poverty pimping, right?
Poverty
make
pimping.
it affordable. $2 Tuesdays.
Yeah. That's $2 Tuesdays. Yep.
That's so true. Like, it's crazy because I literally see it before my eyes. Like, I was in New York a few months ago. Like you say, you got chicken spots on every corner, liquor stores. Like, I just moved out of Arizona. I don't see none of that. Like, you really have to drive out your way to find something unhealthy to eat.
Exactly. And let me bring a challenge to the community. If we don't like it, then why do we gotta go? Who said what guns to our head that we gotta go buy what they're selling?
Man.
Why are we so insistent on having to buy from businesses that either are poisoning us, or they don't respect us, or they're pimping us, or whatever, and all that stuff. And then when it comes down, like a black business can make one mistake. There was a restaurant out in Green Valley Ranch that had a bad review about rodents and all that stuff. Black folks went after them harder than anybody. At the same time, Elways had the same review. Because every restaurant's going to have rats. Because you got what? You got food, you got waste, right?
Yeah,
and all that stuff. But we went out of our way to destroy this black business.
Right, of course.
You know what I'm saying? We
Definitely.
just, you know, that's the part that we got to like. Burger King and all that stuff, they're only open because we go shop there.
I'll give you another one on top of that. Oh, sorry. You saying something, Elijah?
Yeah, I was about to say what he said is it's crazy because what we don't understand like is how much power we got. Everybody's screaming out black power this in your community. They don't realize if you have a race come and open business in your shop like a beauty salon or a chicken spot, let us not go there for a few months. They won't even be there no more.
Exactly. You know the crazy part is there's a beauty salon on Colfax and Dayton called House of Beauty. Shout out Rose, right? And so, you know, they got shot up like in November last year. You know what I'm saying? Like 5 people died. You know how many people die like near McDonald's or a Taco Bell on Colfax or like anywhere in it, like MLK Boulevard area, anywhere around America. People get shot all the time in near white institutions. But she got to go to court and blame of something that had nothing to do with her shop.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Because it happened on their property. Yeah. Chuck E. Cheese, the Aurora Mall, right? Or you got any mall. Mall shootings happen all the time. School shootings. And they'll be more hesitant to shut those down. But if it happens in their black business, oh, nah, bro.
What are you attracting?
Exactly. And that right there is hypocrisy, but it's something that they're intentionally trying to target. You know what I'm saying?
So, but I'm gonna go with extreme ownership. Don't shoot it up. Don't shoot it up. What's going on where your beef is that serious that you got to shoot up somebody else's business,
right?
And put them in that position,
right?
So we have to also own our behavior and the things that we do and we don't do. It's not necessary. I mean, some things we do are just like I said, above and beyond, and it's just a lot from just being a lost tribe.
Definitely, and yeah, that man, you speaking facts for real. We're definitely lost and we need to be found. You know what I'm saying? That's why we working and building with each other.
There we go.
Cool. Other than that, you know what I'm saying? Is there anything else we need to speak on in particular?
That's it for me.
All right, for sure. Well, we appreciate you, Narcy. You know what I'm saying? Any last words for the audience? Anything you want to say to them? Ain't
nothing wrong with buying black.
Ain't nothing wrong.
That's upward mobility. That's not going down. That's not anything. And then come check us out.
Come on.
4990 Nome Street, Unit C, Denver, Colorado, 80239. We're in Montbello, and we're staying in Montbello. Once we grow and get our own land and have the ability to expand what we have right now, we're staying in Montbello. So, you know, if it ain't us, support somebody else. But I'll leave it on this note. If not us, then who? If not now, then when?
Definitely, for sure. Here's a couple of comments in the YouTube section. They said, brother asked, how do you balance business and family? We'll actually answer that at the end. Somebody said, great conversation, fellow. Shout out Johnny Doe. What was the motivation that kept you from quitting? Salute to brothers, support black business. Was the journey of success worth losing people closest to you? Mr. DG, you did ask that. You said it was worth it.
If they was close, they wouldn't have lost them.
Period. And then, so going back to the original question, how do you balance business and family?
Just making sure that I'm conscious and I know when to step back. And that's been the biggest challenge over the last 4 or 5 years, is learning how to balance that stuff.
For sure. And then what was the motivation that kept you from quitting? You answered that too.
Looking at my family, knowing that I'm the difference. And then also I refuse to go back into a situation where somebody has the control of my inputs and outputs.
Boom, pow. Don't let nobody control your inputs. Shout out Athletics and Beyond, y'all. And like he says, 20% athletics, 80% beyond. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to be ball players, but we're going to own ball arenas. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate you, Narcy. Definitely thank you very much. You know what I'm saying? Any last words from Elijah?
No, that's it. That's it for me.
For sure, for sure. All right, y'all. This has been another episode of TMI, The Money Initiative. We appreciate all of y'all coming in. Thank you, NARCY JACKSON and Athletics and Beyond, for representing, put y'all business on.
We appreciate having you. Hey, again, thank y'all. Everybody, we all need to, young activists, thank y'all. Thank the community. Because in our reality, we are open because of our community.
For sure. That's how we do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we're going to build it larger and create more independence because the key is independence. We don't need, bruh, 500 people can keep your doors open and pay your bills. I promise you. Probably less than that depending on how much you invested.
Well, you got to want to pay too.
Exactly.
And quit looking for the hookup.
Everybody always, when you black, stop asking for the hookup. Exactly. All right, y'all. Make sure the outcome is always income. Deuces. Outro, please. Boom.
Bro told me how to make it, need like 10,000. Just to fly across the world, I need like 10 houses. Bro ain't got no place to sleep, I got like 10 couches. What you wanna know about me? I got like 10 vouchers. When they say they know my name, it's not like anybody. Me and you are not the same, you wanna be a copy. Stay in lane and be yourself is the best option. Never say yourself short, you ain't no bid for auction. I don't really know what you be meaning. We thinking on the things that we needin'. Can't sleep in, even working on the weekends. I depend on the things that I'm dreaming. Even when we got the whip with the top down. From the school of hard knocks, never dropped out. We turning on them, yeah, we best believe it. Now we on the come up, ain't no secret. Ain't no secret.